on back. I am now your designated moderator. You get a refund. Yes. All right. I have been told that I will be announcing the next speaker. That's right. We have another awesome woman speaker. She's so good, she's a guy.
Hey, Harris.
Okay, that's why my sit will be short today. All right. So first of all, let's give a hand for John Coyle and for our people who are welcome. Our next speaker likes a challenge. He said to me, don't put me third after those two. Don't put me third after those two. Please don't put me third after those two. But Mohit asked me if I would say a couple words about branding. I've known Ray for about a decade now. He and I used to speak on this one small business expo circuit, and I had this one area that I would do my presentation right after. I kept hearing about this branding guy. I would go next door, and then I realized that I knew why my sessions were so underattended, because his were so well attended. This guy really walks the talk when it comes to branding. He's got a number of distinctions today that are really key, especially he'll talk about the difference between your corporate brand and your personal brand, just fascinating. And Ray has really always epitomized what having a consistent brand is all about. Look at your tables, look at the items that you have on there. He's already branded the table, and he's branded the lobby, and he'll show you how that can impact you. So I can keep going, but I'm told there's a video that'll do an even better job. And the video.
I consider when it comes to branding, he's an icon. But more than that, he's a good friend. What I like about Ray Perez is that he makes things happen. And the unique gift I think that he has is he can make you look good. He's the person who's about giving.
He is the world's expert when it comes to personal branding and making you a celebrity. So if you want to take your brand to the next level, check out Ray Perez on TV, right on C-Suite TV, and reach out to him and become a global business executive.
He has a mind when it comes to marketing and branding, second to none. I've never seen anything like it. What Ray is training his team provides is a sense of clarity, purpose, and direction. And I will tell you, when you can say what you do like that, you want to say it more often. When you say it more often, you're going to do money.
I want to give a shout out to Ray Perez. He's going to do wonders for your business and get you in front of the right type of people. He is the connector.
Getting the people in the room is one thing, but having it really full of energy and ready to rumble, so to speak, is the important thing. I think you guys made that happen. So to say, first class event all the way down.
If you want to be competitive, if you want to go in all types of different areas, and who has a trained eye, and who gets you and can bring your stuff out into the marketplace.
How's everyone doing? Come on, you better than that. How's everyone doing? Much better. I'm very excited and honored to be here with you guys and sharing the last decade of my life, discovering the power of personal branding. Before I get into this, I just kind of wanted to feel for in the room who currently feels that they have a personal brand already, good quality personal brand. Raise your hand. I'm seeing like shaking hands in the room. Okay, all right, good. So, how many of you agree with this statement on the screen? Raise your hand if you agree with this statement. Yes? Right? Business is built on relationships. So I want you to consider, when we're talking about personal branding, what I'm really talking about is how you allow people in the world to build a relationship with you faster when you're not even physically present. You might ask yourself, well, how do you do that? Well, there's this amazing thing called the internet and social media that nowadays people can build relationships and connections with other people that you've never ever met. Has anyone experienced this before? Have you built a relationship or feel that you're connected to someone that you've never personally met because of online social media? So what I'm going to be talking about, are we getting more people online? Is that? Yeah. Well, I welcome everybody on Zoom. See, you guys see me? Can they hear me? They can hear you. Very good. So we want to make this interactive. So consider, what would it be like if you could build relationships or have other people build relationships with you 24/7, 365 while you're sleeping? And that's what we're going to talk about in this moment. So my good buddy Zig Ziglar says, right, that if people like you, they'll listen to you. But if they trust you, they'll do business with you. So what's the most important part of building a relationship? What are we going to have to accomplish? People have to like, know, and trust you, right? You've heard this over and over and over again. The question is, how? How do we build people to like, know, and trust us without us ever meeting them? And that's what I'm going to share how to do that in just a moment. Cool. There we go. Okay. So here's my promise to you guys. So today, and I don't have my confidence monitor. So today I'm going to teach you a few things. Okay. So number one, it's maximizing your brand presence online and across all different social media platforms. Really quick, to show of hands, who in the room has more than 2 social medias? Raise them high. So 3 or more, keep them up. 4 or more, keep them up. 5 or more, keep them up. 5 or more, put your hand up. 5, count. 1, Carl, you have 2. So 2 people, anybody else? 5? Okay, so I just want you to be clear. There's about 4 people in the room that have 5 social medias. Do you know what the top 5 social medias are on the planet? Number 1 is Instagram. Number 2 is Facebook. Number 3 is LinkedIn, Twitter, and now there's Snapchat, there's YouTube, and there's TikTok. So those are 7. But if you have 5 of those 7, you are available to be found in the world. And if you don't, I want you to be consider, I want you to be open to the possibility of what could be available to you if you were. And one of the things I always say, I have a philosophy called hand in the sand. If you were to scoop a big pile of sand and flip your hand, some of it would fall through your fingers, right? So I'm going to share some ideas and some concepts and some experiences that I've had over the last 15 years. And you might disagree with some of it. Well, hand in the sand, just let those fall out. Whatever resonates with you, let that sit. But I really want to urge you to consider to be open-minded, because there might be some things you've never considered before, and today might just be that shift that you needed to really propel your business to the next level. Does that sound good? Can I get that promise from everyone? Yes? 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 Yes. All right, great. So next is, how do you build authority? How do you increase your revenue and attract higher paying clients? This is one of my favorites. How do you continue to do the exact same thing you're doing
but can get paid more for it. Imagine what that would be like. Nothing changes, you just raise your prices. How do we do that? I'm going to share how in just a moment. Next is get paid more because of who you are, not just because of what you do. Does anyone currently pay, except for two speakers, does anyone else get paid for who they are besides what they do? One, two people. How many would like to get paid for who you are on top of which you can raise your hand? Okay, so those of you who did not raise your hand, you guys can leave, because that's all we're going to talk about. All right, and lastly, how do you make an impact? For me, it's really important, not how much money we make, but how many lives we impact. The difference that we make in the world. That's really something that I believe when building a personal brand is truly important. So, I need a vote in the room. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you have no personal brand whatsoever, 10, you're an absolute rock star, you can be the brand guy, you should be you're teaching, what would you rate your online personal brand? Everybody have that number in your head? Okay, anyone who's a 4 or higher, stand up. 4 or higher, stand up. 4 or higher, stand up. All right, so look around the room. If you are a 5 or higher, keep standing. 6 or higher, keep standing. 7 or higher, keep standing. 8 or higher, keep standing. All right, look around the room. Wait. 8 or higher, keep standing.
I'm like 7, 8.
7.5. 7. All right, so I'll take you. So, what do you think? You have a microphone.
Check.
What's your name, sir? Steve, what would you say is missing to get you from 8 to 10?
I gotta start using AI to improve my business.
So more automation.
More automation.
Okay. Systems, processes. Anything else? That's it. We need some automation to get out there. Okay, very good. Give a round of applause to Steve. We know you, girl. Great, Steve. What would you say is missing to get you from 8 to 10?
I think I'm really good at 4 of the platforms. I know if I take 2 more to the next level, I've done like Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. If I could take Instagram, which you said was number 1, which made me sad. I'm stuck in that, so I have to get better at that, I would say.
So, better social media presence.
Yeah, more.
More social media presence. Okay, awesome. Round of applause.
For me, 8 to 10 would be more consistent implementation, but also letting people more into my personal life.
Huge. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Thank you. All right. So, what's missing to get you to a 10? Those of you 4 and above, 2 and above, 3 and above, what's missing to get you to that next level? I want you to think about that as I give this presentation. And I want you to start writing down in little pieces, those little aha moments. Wait, if I did that, that would take me to the next level. If I did that, that would take me one more notch. Because my commitment, my goal is to get you all to 10s. Right? Whether I teach you how to do that, and you contract people, whether you work with myself and my team, it's completely up to you. But my commitment is, as entrepreneurs, as purpose-driven individuals, right? You should be monetizing your mission. Carl said, right? Opening yourself up more to what you as a person can do for the world, not just what your business can do for the world. And that's where the area of personal branding comes into play. First of all, we got to find out what is branding. And as my buddy Jeff Bezos says, branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So think about this for a second. What are people saying about you when you're not in the room? Are they even saying anything? Right? Because if they don't say anything, that's still your brand. Does that make sense? If people are not remembering you, not remembering what you said, not talking about you, well, that is a direct distinction of what your brand is doing. And understand this. This isn't good or bad. This isn't right or wrong. It doesn't matter if your brand is a water or it's a tap. The difference is how much impact do you want to make in the world? how much do you want to grow yourself and your business or businesses? And if you're looking to have more impact, if you're looking to grow your businesses, then personal branding is something that can supercharge that process. Okay? So, who am I and why should you listen to me? And you saw it behind that airplane? Right. Thank you. All right. So, I've been featured in several medias. I'm in Forbes, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm in all the major news channels. A lot of the work that we've done, especially with our charity, our nonprofit organization, which I'll share with you guys in a moment. I have 3 different books, best-selling author in 2 of them. I'm a talk show host. I have a show called Today's Premier Experts. Some of you guys saw Les Brown in my video. He's been a guest on my show. He's one of my clients. He's a friend of mine. I book Les to speak. If anybody ever wants Les Brown to come speak at your events, talk to me. So that's something that I'm really proud of. We're on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire Stick. If you want to look up Today's Premier Experts, you can check out the show. We also have a podcast and a talk show where we interview different entrepreneurial experts in their different fields. We're always looking to see what's that secret sauce, what's that special thing that makes people successful in entrepreneurship, so we can share it with our audience. I'm also a former fitness cover model. Did some did that. My plan for this. A lot of Photoshop, right? So this is something that's very holding to my heart. Getting back, we have a nonprofit organization called Influence for Love, and we support underprivileged youth in teaching them entrepreneurship skills, giving them mentorship. So if anybody would like to support our nonprofit and our presentation, I'll give you guys an opportunity to, whether it's with your time, your talent, or your treasure, we're always looking for fellow entrepreneurs to support and give our love and practice and shape. So why is personal branding so powerful, right? Personal branding can increase your sales because people do business with people they like, know, and trust. The question is, how do we build this like, know, and trust factor using this digital, internet, social media world that we all know is growing by the day? The way we used to connect 10 years ago is not the way we connect today. Would you guys agree? Yeah. Right? Things have changed. And if we don't keep up with the times, I like to say you're going to experience what's called the blockbuster effect. Okay, so what the blockbuster effect is? Has anybody seen the Netflix, the last blockbuster on Earth, right? I recommend you watch it if you haven't. There's one blockbuster left in Bend, Oregon. And it's like a museum because they're gone. And this only happened because they did not stay up with the times. And here's the problem. Technology moves too fast. And by the time you make the decision that I need to catch up, see how it's happening? It's going to be too late. The planes are off already. There's a learning curve involved with what we're going to be talking about today. And if you don't invest in it today, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road, you say, wow, I need to do this, you miss the learning curve. And there's no way to catch up. And I can tell you this because 4 years ago, I started my journey of personal branding. It's only been four short years. I've been in branding and marketing for over 15 years, and I was focusing on my business and my clients' businesses. But it wasn't until I got into public speaking that I started to realize the power in a personal brand. And I started watching testimonial videos. Does anybody have a testimonial video for their business or their company? Have you ever watched them or listened to them? Has anyone ever talked about their experience with you or your team? Both. After I watched enough of my testimonial videos, you know what I realized? Nobody was buying from the company. They were buying from the people that represent me. And no sale in my business has ever been made without me having some type of interaction. It could have gone through one of my salespeople, but they still have some interaction with me. So, question for you. Are you the face of your business? Raise your hand. Okay? Would you say that your customers and clients, for the most part, know who you are? And would you feel that they would still be buying your product or service if you were not present? Think about that, okay? Because a lot of the times, people are buying because of the person, because of the relationship. And I'll give you an example. AT&T and Sprint, which one's better? Verizon. Honda, Toyota, which one's better? Awesome, right? Everything is relative. We can't agree that one company is that much better than the other. They all have their properties. What changes is this: how people feel about a certain brand. Because you know that there's those Toyota lovers, there's those Honda lovers, there's those Mercedes lovers. No matter what you tell them, even if the car is better, they're going to stick to that brand because of the way that they feel about that brand. Does this make sense? Now, I'm going to show you why and how a person in a brand will help you sell more. Because I know some of you don't believe it. You guys know what this is? Ronald McDonald. Now, when McDonald's first opened, they didn't have Ronald McDonald as the mascot. Does anyone know the reason why they brought Ronald McDonald as the mascot? Anyone know the reason why? So many years later, one of their competitors, another hamburger establishment, was taking large market share from McDonald's. Now that hamburger establishment had the owner and founder as the face of the business. Does anybody know what that hamburger establishment was? Wendy's. And who was the man? Dave Thomas. He's been passed for many years, and we still know Dave Thomas, right? You walk into a Wendy's, which I don't know if you do, right? But if you did walk into a Wendy's, right? The drive-thru, right? That's how we do it. We don't have time to walk in. You see Dave there holding the tray with his glasses, smiling. So please explain to me, how does a man help sell more hamburgers? Here's another word. There's it. J-Lo. Is everyone familiar with J-Lo? Their clothes. Now, J-Lo has a perfume. She actually has multiple perfumes. But I was shocked to find out that she didn't actually invent her perfume. Like, I could have sworn she did it right back over the glasses. Ooh, I like this. That's not how it went down. Her marketing people connected with some other people that had these scents and said, hey, we want to put J-Lo's name on it, and we're going to share X amount of revenue. Do you think that that same smell would have sold the same amount without her name on it? Why not? Because she's the brand. Because she's the brand. What else?
It would have been hidden in the noise of all the others.
It would have been hidden in the noise because she's famous. What else? People want to be like her. People feel like they know her, that they have a relationship, a connection with her, even though they've never met her. So they will sell more perfume, which is a physical product, because they put a person's brand on it. Does this make sense? Okay, last one. Everybody know this brand? This is the most recognized brand in the entire planet. That swoosh is known all over the planet. But what would you guess to say is the best-selling Nike of all time? Nobody said the word Nike. Jordans, Air Jordans, Michael Jordans, right? Never, in the thousands of presentations I've done all over the world, nobody has said the Nike Jordans, the Nike Air Jordans. So explain to me, how does the number one recognized brand that sells tennis shoes in the entire planet have a man be the best-selling shoe? Now, mind you, does anybody know how much Nike paid Jordan to be on the shoes? It's like $280 million. Like, ridiculous. So consider this. How do they afford to pay the man with the brand that much money and still create profitability in the business? Because people will always buy more from the connection to a human being. Emphasis on the word being, ladies and gentlemen. We're all energy, we're all connected. So when we're talking about business, when we're talking about creating growth in your companies, the one thing I want you to consider that you might have never considered before is, what is the trade of energy you're doing with your customers and with the world? What are you actually putting out there? What are you allowing people to connect with? you just providing a product or service? And if you are, why? This is something that most entrepreneurs never consider. Why do we do what we do? Most of you know what you do. Some of you know how you do it. But most of you don't know why. And when you can connect with your why, you can connect with more people. And you'll be able to grow your business. Does this make sense? Okay. So, I know what you're thinking. Ray, this all makes perfect sense. But I'm not J-Lo and I'm not Michael Jordan, so what the heck does this have to do with me, right? Well, the good news is this. You don't have to be a TV star, sports athlete, or musician, or rock star to be a celebrity. Okay? As an entrepreneur, you can be a celebrity within your own niche or industry. Okay? Why? Because Michael Jordan is a celebrity in what industry? Sports. Right? J-Lo is a celebrity in what? Music. Now, if we took her and we put her in NASCAR, would she still be a celebrity? No. It might be kind of hot, but it's definitely not a celebrity, right? So consider when we talk about this term, celebrity, what is a celebrity? Anybody have any idea? What is a celebrity? Somebody will know, yes?
Most famous person in a particular domain.
A famous person within a particular domain, niche or industry, I like to call it. So how do we create celebrity status? And consider this, there is no such thing as this. It is a perception that one human being has in their mind of another human being. There's no such thing as a celebrity. Why? How many people in this room know who Les Brown is? Okay. How many people don't know who Les Brown is? Okay, perfect. The people who know who Les Brown is have a different perception of value in who I am once they see he's my client. Because Les Brown is the #1 motivational speaker on the planet of all time. #1. If you don't know who he is, go check it out later, watch a few of his videos, and watch how your perception of value will shift the moment you know who he is. It's the same thing with J-Lo. If someone came from another country and didn't know who J-Lo is, when I did that example, it made no difference to them. Because the perception value of J-Lo in your mind would be nothing because they don't know who she is. Does this make sense? All right. So, here's the question. Why don't all entrepreneurs have a world-class brand? Or more importantly, why don't all of you in this room have a world-class brand? You don't know how. Very good. That's number 3. There's 3 main reasons. Time and money. That's really smart. Yeah. Time, money, and I don't know how. Well, here's the deal. Number 3 is how do we do it today? I'm going to teach you how. I'm actually going to give you a step-by-step process of how to do it. Now, when you go out and do it, that's a different thing. Time and money, I can eliminate those 2 because I have an amazing team. And I can do what I do because of these people. I never take the credit. My team is amazing, and if you have a team, I'm sure you know what it's like. Just let everyone take care of it, and you just kind of be one out there with the stars. So I'm blessed to have been here with you, sharing this information, and making it all done. We've been able to create an event called Brand in 2 Days, where we'll brand an entrepreneur in 40 hours. Head to toe, every possible thing you can think of. So if that's something that you've been thinking about, if somebody's been telling you should do this, if it's been something in the back of your mind, I'm happy to sit down with you guys after today, or we'll schedule a call later on. I'll personally take that call, usually send it over to my team, I'll do it for this organization, and discuss how you can benefit your personal brand in your business and your industry. So I want you to realize that celebrity entrepreneurs are made. They're not born. The question is, how do we make them? Okay? So, how do we build a celebrity personal brand? Here's the formula. You want to write this down or take a picture? And I actually wrote the book on this, which you guys will all get a copy. It's called Cracking the Celebrity Code. Everyone's going to get a copy. And this is how I have actually broken down how to build celebrity status in the perception of your audience. of your dictionary industry. So we first start off with these three things: what people see, what they hear, and what they read about you. Multiplied by the amount of exposures over time. So let's think about this. What they see. What did I play before I came up? Video. Why? Because you got to see it in action. I don't have to talk about it, right? What else happened in that video? You heard testimonials from my clients. I didn't tell you what I've done. I let my clients tell me. And we're reading the slides, right? We're reading everything. And what's in front of you? Collaterals that you read. So what you see, what you read, and what you hear. Here's the key. Multiply by multiple what? Exposures. So start counting how many exposures have you had to my personal brand since you arrived here. Anybody count? Really quick. Think about it in your head. Think of every exposure you've had to me since I got on the stage. And get a number in your head. And whoever gets it right, I'm going to give the ticket to our event. Brand space. Anybody got that number? 6? 10? 12? Anybody got more than 12? 20? You got 20? Are you counting all the slides? All right, break down by 12. Break it down.
You didn't say that.
Two branding pieces, also the marketing pieces outside, the marketing table, that item, what am I at 9?
Your picture of you without a head.
There you go. I'm going to give you both one. I'm going to give you both. Let's give them a round of applause. Come on. So yes, so I'm aware of this. So I will make sure that I do everything in my power to maximize the amount of exposures that my audience has to my brand before they ever meet me. Did anyone recognize me before I walked up there? Did anybody recognize me?
Safe,
Without a shirt, right? That was I'm going to send you. This is what you want to create. I know what I meant yet, but I was putting out those exposures. Now, what happens is time. Okay? Over the course of time, the more exposures you see, this is where the magic happens. You go home, you go on your Instagram, you go on your LinkedIn, you go on YouTube, you read the Forbes article, you read the Entrepreneur. Hey, let me see what this Miami guy with flashing suit is really up to. More exposures, right? What do we call that in business? Building what? Rapport. Building rapport. Before someone does business with us, we have to build a relationship, we have to build rapport. The question is, how do you get your audience to build rapport with you without having to be involved? This is what the formula breaks down. How can you put yourself in front of your audience multiple times so that they can see, hear, and read about you to elevate your, write this down, perception of value. Ladies and gentlemen, our world has changed. Online is taking over. You're going to meet more people digitally than you'll ever meet in the physical world. The question is, are you leveraging that? Because whether you choose or not, you do have a brand in store. You might not be controlling that brand. You might be allowing that brand to just be open to perception of others. But today, I want you to consider what would it be like if you did control it, if you were intentional about it, and if you had a purpose behind it. Okay? So, everyone's going to get a copy of my book, Cracking the Study Code. We have them outside. If you do want a signed copy, I'd be happy to do that for you. I want to break down the process that we go through in building a personal brand. So, write this down: verbal identity. And this is going to go and coincide with the formula you just wrote down. So what is verbal identity? It's the language. This is in written form. What is language in written form called? A person who writes for a living. Say it. Copyright. Copywriting, besides speaking, is probably one of the highest paid professions on the planet. You know why? Because language, when it comes to marketing, is the most important. You will convert more with language than anything else. So, what we want to make sure that we do is we want to have good language, good copywriting when it comes to your personal brand. Here are the two most important pieces of copy for your personal brand. Number one, expert title. Instead of telling you what an expert title is, let me just tell you what it's not. President, CEO, vice president, owner, founder, director, these are all positions. These are all titles and positions in companies. And maybe if you're in a C office, it might hold some weight, but realistically, it's just making you feel good. Because the key to an expert title is the value that it brings to the person who's reading the expert title. Think about that for a second. The person that's being introduced to you, whether it's on your video, whether it's on print materials, whether it's on a website, when they're meeting you and they're reading this expert title, there needs to be some type of value that they feel is in it for them. WIFM, what is that? What's in it for me? Always consider what is in it for the audience. Now, some of you don't believe me. How about you? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to introduce myself two ways. I want you to listen closely and tell me if you feel a difference in the way I introduce myself. You guys ready? Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. Awesome. All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ray Perez, and I'm owner and founder of keynote Productions. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ray Perez, and I'm a global brand expert. I can see your eyes. Look, he's laughing, right? You can feel a difference in perception. Which one had more value, one or two? Anybody feel that number one had more value? Just curious. Every once in a while, one person. Nothing wrong with that. It's all good. Can't win it all. But I want you to understand, when I introduce myself as owner and founder of keynote Productions, does anyone know what keynote Productions is? So how can we provide it down to you? I'm the owner and founder of some production something. It could be a movie company, it could be an event company. We have no idea. Therefore, the amount of perceived value is very low. When I say I'm a global branding expert, there is an elevation of perception value. Even though you might not be clear what I do, you know it's something important, and you might say, you know what, that could be beneficial to me. Or you might say, you know what, I know someone that can benefit from it. So they're receiving value instantly when they meet you. Does this make sense? Now let me ask you a question. When someone comes across your brand, you want them to feel that there's value or no value? No, of course. So consider creating an expert title for yourself. Next is USP, unique selling proposition. Now, all of your businesses should already have a USP. If you don't, it's a problem. But your personal self, your brand, should also have a unique selling proposition. What separates you in the marketplace? What makes you unique? What makes you special? Why do people want to work with you? And here's the most important part I want you to understand. And please don't take this as offense. Nobody cares what you do. They care what you do for them. So when you're creating your USP, here's the tips. Write down the top 3 results that you produce for people. What are the top 3 results that you produce? Then write the top 3 benefits of each one of those results. Top 3 results, then the top 3 benefits of each one of those results. That will give you the language to build solid USP. I'll give you an example. Your business might help you make more money. Give you an example, right? But people are not really interested in making money. They're interested in what that money can do for them. So what can money do for them? Buy you really nice yachts. What else? It can give you some time freedom. Beautiful. What else? Security. So what we say in our USP isn't we're going to make your business more money. It's we're going to give you time freedom, security, and that new yacht as well. See the difference in how that feels? So I'll ask this question. How many of you want to make more money? How many of you want to have time freedom, able to do whatever you want and buy that new yacht? Look, you smile. Look at the smile on his face, right? That's so cold this whole time. Now he's like, yeah, well, I'm just hanging out on my yacht, right? That's the difference in how you make people feel with the right language. Is this making sense? Okay, great. At the very bottom, did anybody notice what I wrote? Both. It's 100% accurate in both. We would just be discussing different things.
So, on the business side, what we do and building that unique selling proposition makes sense, right? So, selling cruises or being a coach, and we can come up with it. But on the personal side, how would you build that brand? What would you say on the personal side that's not related to business?
That's a great question. That's actually what we specialize in doing. What we do is called personal brand strategy session. So we'll sit with you, we'll ask you specific questions. Because everybody wants to go back to business. And I get it. It's the same thing I used to do. But there's something that makes you unique. There's something that makes you special. There's something that has allowed you to be successful. My job and my team's job is to drill down and figure out what that is. Every one of you have greatness inside of you. The question is, how do we pull that out? How do we put it into language and a visual presence so the world can see it? Separate from your business. And here's the reason why. If you brand yourself to your company, you sit down here. If you pass a business card with your business name and all your information to that company, your company email, you are now an employee of your business. What I'm suggesting is if we move you on top, build a personal brand, and you own the business or businesses, you'll never have to print a new business card, you'll never have to change the email, you'll never have to do anything different. And I think outside, I have my business cards, not the ones that I use, but I use digital. It says Ray Perez, Global Branding Expert. It says my email, and it says to connect with me, go to my 360 site, which I'll share with you in a moment, which is how you connect with me on all my social medias, including my 5 companies. I didn't brand myself as my 5 companies. That's what I did 4 years ago. And it's crazy. Does anybody have multiple companies? Raise your hand. Has anybody had a struggle trying to brand themselves for multiple companies? That was my challenge. And that's where I made the shift and discovered that regardless of the company, who I am in the world is separate than my business. I own my companies. I am not my company. And when I made that mental shift, I attracted more business than I ever had before. Because I was being more true to myself, and I wasn't trying to put myself into this block around this business that just provides a product or service. So now I can own 5 companies, I can have a nonprofit organization, I can be a speaker, I can do all these multiple things. I'll never have to change the business card or my brand ever again. Is this making sense? Full of questions. All right. Oh wait, at the bottom, what does it say? When you're doing your USP, don't say, we help our clients do X, Y, Z. Support your clients, empower your clients, partner with your clients. Do not use the word help. Does anybody know why? Know why?
It's overused.
When you say help, it's like they're going to do the work. It's you're not the expert.
Puts them in a bad place to begin.
Correct. You're okay. You need help. See? Right? That's basically what you're telling them. You need help. And the reality is, they probably need help. But you don't want to be the one to tell them that they need help because you're putting them in a disempowering state by communicating the language of you need help. If I'm going to come help you, number one, something's wrong. Number two, I'm going to charge you because something's wrong. So instead of coming to help you, I'm going to support you. I'm going to empower you. I'm going to partner with you. Does this make sense to everyone? Very important. Remove the word help from all of your marketing. Now, if you need something from someone, use the word help. Why? Because you're lowering yourself and you're being open and vulnerable. It's different when you're asking for help than when you're telling someone. You don't want to put someone in a vulnerable state. You don't want to put them down. But when you need help, there's a power that you give to someone else when they can actually give to you. So then, personally, you can use it. Good? All right, here's another one. Create introductions, not referrals. How many of you guys ask for referrals in your business? Yes, if you don't, you should be. I just want you to consider shifting the language from can you refer me someone to can you introduce me to someone that can benefit from my products or service. Because referral sounds like sales, right? Referral, that's like sales. Introduction, relationship. We want more relationships. We don't want more sales. Because more relationships will lead to more what? Sales. So focus on the relationship, don't focus on selling. Does this make sense? All right. Number two, visual. Is this good? You guys, is this helpful? Number two, visual identity. Write that down. Okay. Perception is reality. Any car enthusiasts in the room? Yeah. Okay. I love fast cars. I love exotic cars. I have a small collection. So I love this analogy personally. If we're walking through a parking lot and there's all these cars, and you walk by a Honda Toyota, you just keep walking. If you walk by a Mercedes or a BMW, you might take a look at it. But if you walk by an Aston Martin or Ferrari or Rolls Royce or Bentley, what do most people do? They stop, they look at it, they snap a picture, or maybe what? A selfie, right? Why? They're all cars. They all get you from point A to point B. They all have four wheels. They all have air conditioning. Why do people do that with the higher end? Why? Perception, status, what else? What is it? It's harder to get. Everyone else?
The association with it.
Correct. The association of value. Let's be clear. Perception of value. Right? And yes, a Ferrari costs more than a Mercedes or a Toyota, but it really comes down to the perception that they built over time with their brand. There's no difference with this room of people in a parking lot full of cars. There's a bunch of Honda, Toyotas, Mercedes, BMWs, two Ferraris, and don't take that offense. There's nothing wrong with that. This isn't a good or bad, right or wrong conversation. The question is this: what perception of value do you want the world to have of you? And how do you want to leverage that perception of value? Because I believe it should be for good. That's why our nonprofit organization is called Influence of Love. Because what we teach our entrepreneurs is the reason that you elevate your perception of value is not so you can make more money. It's so you can make a greater impact. It's because you understand that the more spotlight you have on yourself, the more people are going to notice you, are going to listen to you, and will follow you. And when people follow you, then you can direct them in any direction you want, which is, it could be one business, it could be 2, 3 businesses, it could be your nonprofit organization, it could be anything that you want. Here's the other part that happens when you really start elevating your perception of value. New doors of opportunity start opening up that have never been available for you right now. I'll give you an example. I'm standing in front of this room for a reason. And it doesn't mean that I'm smarter, better, or more successful than any of you. The only difference is this: I have increased my perception of value enough that I get requested to speak over and over and over and over again at multiple events all over the world. 5 years ago, before I understood this, I was the same person. I have relatively the same amount of knowledge I do now. I I did not have the perception of value. I did not have a formula that I just showed you. And within 4 short years, not only has my entire business changed, my entire life has changed. I work less, I make more, I have more fun, and I give back more than some people make in a year. And I don't say that to boast, I say that to you because even though your business might be successful, are you fulfilled? Are you happy? Are you enjoying your life? Because that's what it's all about. Being a successful entrepreneur isn't about how much money we make. It's how we enjoy our time with our friends, with our family, with our fellow entrepreneurs. And building a solid, high-level value personal brand allows you to do that more effectively. Is this making sense? Yep. All right. Brand consistency is key. For those of you that have four or more social medias, here's the question. Do you have the same profile image and cover image across all your social medias? Does anybody? 1, 2. If I look right now, every single profile and cover is exactly the same. I'm going to check. Give you 9 projects. All right? Why? I know we're in New Jersey. Does anyone know the supermarket Publix? Does everyone know the Publix? What color is Publix's sign? Green. So if you walk into, or were walking to a Publix in a new city, and the sign was blue, how would you feel? Am I in the right place? Something's off. Unsafe. What is it? Fake. But we just changed the color of the sign, guys. It's the same exact building. That is why brand consistency is so important. Consider someone sees your profile image on LinkedIn, and sees a different one on Facebook, sees a different one on Instagram, sees a different one on your website. Fake, uncomfortable, unsure. No one's going to call you by the way and say, hey, Carl, I was checking you out online, and I noticed you have this multiple profile photos on other social media. I'm not really sure if I can trust you. No one's going to do that. But what I want you to understand is how you're going to make them feel. Because how is all buying decisions based on? Emotion, backed by logic. Buying decisions are based on emotion, backed by logic. Everything that I'm teaching you is based on creating an emotion relationship with this other human being so that they like, know, and trust you, so that therefore, they're open to listening to what you have to say. And once someone is open to listening to what you have to say, now you can present your business, your product, your service. The key is not trying to sell them. The key is trying to build enough value in their perception that they want to listen to you. And once they listen to you, now comes your opportunity to do your pitch, do your close, whatever you want to call it. Omnipresent. For those of you that have 5 or more social media, why is it important and valuable to be on multiple platforms? If I like Twitter, she likes LinkedIn, the millennials in the room, Snapchat, and TikTok, right? TikTok, there we go. That means that audience can find you. If you're not there, can they find you? No. Which means you don't exist. Now, I know most of you are thinking, Ray, I do not have time to be on social media. You're crazy. Right? Am I right? Am I here? Is everybody thinking? So here's the deal. You want me to let you into the secret? I guess that's awesome. You want the secret? Yes. Okay. What I want you to do is take 2 days out of the month. 2 days. I like to be around the 1st and the 15th of the month. And I want you to block off 2 hours. Now, I want you to block these 2 hours in the evening time. Okay? Not during business hours. And in those 2 hours, I want you to create 15 pieces of content. Whether it's a video, whether it's a photo, whether it's a little meme, a little something. 15 pieces. And then we're going to schedule it out on all your social medias, the exact same 15 on every single social media for the next 15 days. There's a couple apps. There's one called Buffer. There's another one called Hootsuite. There's another one called Lately. And I'll give you guys a whole list of them if you guys reach out to me later. And you're going to schedule the next 2 weeks. Now, does anybody have teenagers or college students? They can help you. Very good. Okay? Now, why are we creating 15 pieces of content? Because we just want to cover the next 2 weeks of content. Because in the next 2 weeks, we're going to sit down for 2 more hours and schedule the next 2 weeks. Now, those 15 pieces of content come from the last 2 weeks of everything you do. For example, this is a perfect place to create content. You take a few pictures of the 3 speakers, you take a few selfies with some of the people out here, with some of the managers, you got 5 pieces of content just for this one day alone to schedule on social media. You don't have to get crazy. The only thing I want you to understand is this. You just want to be active. I'm not asking for anything else. I just need you to be active because people are searching and connecting with you online, whether they're telling you or not. Have you guys searched for anyone online ever? No, I know it was everyone. So consider if they see you active, it's just validating that you're a real person. They're allowing them to create a connection, a relationship, what creates that emotional bond, which will get them to listen to you and then eventually buy it. Okay? So the last one, in my opinion, this is the most valuable and it's more valuable. It's your value identity. And this is who you are, your mission, your purpose, why do you do what you do, I mentioned earlier. And when you have a strong mission, a strong purpose, and you can share that, then you start building raving fans. And why are raving fans good? What are raving fans do? Beautiful. They brag about you, they share, and they bring you introductions, which are the best type of referrals, right? That we want. So a third party introduces us to someone that can be our perfect customer. Now, let me ask you this question. Really think about this. Why do your happy customers make those introductions? Wow. Let's give them a round of applause. You are the first person ever got me. I'm going to ask some special students. Because you make them look good. Think about this for a second. If you think of whoever's your favorite celebrity, put them in your head. Who's your favorite celebrity? If you had an opportunity to meet that favorite celebrity, would you tell your friends about it? Of course you would. Why? Because it makes you look good in their eyes that you were able to meet this person of high perception value. It's the same exact thing in business. If you have a very high perception value, the reason people want to make the introduction is because you will make them look good to the person that you're introducing to. It's self-centered, it's ego. We're all WIFM. What's in it for me, right? What's in it for me is to promote you because you make me look good. So I'm going to promote you more and more and more the more you make me look good. The only way to do that is to elevate your perception value. Because if you don't look like a celebrity, if you don't look like a rock star, it's very hard for them to make an introduction to just somebody that looks like a hot or two. Does this make sense? So consider what would it be like if people were making introductions to you all the time because you make them look good. And how easy would that? I mean, this happens to me every single day. I actually have an introduction process. Would anyone like to see my introduction process? Yeah. All right, I'm going to put you guys in. I've never seen that. All right, I'm going to hold that for once in a moment. I'm going to do that. So for me, my value is all the nonprofit organizations that we support. So we have our own nonprofit, but our nonprofit supports other nonprofits when it comes into their marketing, their branding, their position. Because if you didn't know this, the same exact strategies to grow your business are the same exact strategies to grow a nonprofit organization. There's absolutely no difference. The only difference is they are classified as nonprofit, but everything is exactly the same. So what we do is we help these other nonprofits in their marketing strategies, in their brand strategies, in the way that they're able to get more supporters. So how do people research one another? What's the number one way that people research one another? Is that right? Google. And what usually pops up on that Google? People's what? People's, man, you guys are a bright crowd. I love you guys. Social media. And then what do? They find their favorite social media and then they look through them. Can we all agree that this is happening every single day? As we're sitting in this room, someone's on social media looking at your page. The question is, do you have control of that page? Are you being intentional with the verbal, visual, and value identity that you're exposing to the world? And when was the last time you sat there and said, hey, what's that picture? What's that brand color? What's that message that all these people are experiencing when they're checking me out online? Because let's be honest, no one's special in this room. Everybody's being checked out by something. And no one's calling you up. Now, I'll say this. When you have a really good personal brand, they do come. And you know what they say? This has happened to me multiple times. They say, Ray, we need to set up a meeting and call. I've been watching you. It's the number one comment that I have received over the last 3 years. And most of those comments have led to meetings that have led to 5 and 6 figure meetings. I've been watching. But keep in mind, I control and I'm intentional about what they're watching. I'm focused on what you see. I'm focused on what you read. I'm focused on the videos that I'm putting in front over and over and over again. Because I understand that to build this celebrity status, there is a formula to it. And if you follow the formula, all you have to do is expedite your growth. And like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, you can leave this presentation with 1,000 information. I want to stay obscure, and I don't want anyone to know my personal brand. And that is totally okay. But if you're committed to playing a bigger game, if you're committed to making a bigger impact in the world, then I'm going to challenge you to put that spotlight on yourself. Because when you do that, you can make a big difference. And that's really what it comes down to. So, does everyone pull up their cell phones? Does anyone not have Instagram? Let's see. Anyone not have Instagram? One, two. Okay, so download Instagram right now. Let me help you guys get Instagram. Everyone else, open up Instagram and look me up, Ray Perez 360, and click follow if you're not following me already. And later today, I'm going to pick one of you guys and send you. So open up your Instagram app, type in Ray Perez 360, everybody, and just click follow. And then later today, I'll have someone on my team pick one of you guys and send you. I'm going to send you a video. Yeah. Let's add it back there. Maybe I should get there. Is this better? Is this better? All right. You're definitely not going to get it if you don't follow me. You know what? I'm going to give it to everybody. All right. So, what media promotes our brands online? What is the number one media in today's age that we can use on social media online to promote your brands? Anybody know? Number one. Say out loud. Video. Video is the most powerful marketing tool on the planet, which is also why it's the most expensive, right? It's been since the beginning of television. Now, here's the most important thing I want you to understand. Without the right language, right? Without the right verbal identity in the video, without the right visual identity, and without the right value identity, your video will not be as effective. Just having a video alone is not strong enough. You must have all these components to have a successful video. Does this make sense? Let me see what happened. Okay, I'm going to show you what we call a testimonial sizzle video. And if you do not have one of these, I'm going to implore you to get one as soon as possible. Because this is one of the #1 ways to promote yourself and your brand. Here we go.
Not fun until it's right.
You know, I actually knew Ray Perez before he was Ray Perez.
He's always got a smile, he's always got energy, and he's always willing to say it. And you can look back and say, sort of, this is before Ray and after Ray.
Ray is a brand genius, and he actually has a get it done for you system.
For most people, we just can't see why this is just supposed to be, but he can.
I was totally blown away by the information that he was sharing.
Ray has an amazing spirit and charisma that is just very deep in him. His desire to give to others, to help them succeed, that is what was really impressive. Just to see that, the transformation that he can bring about to people.
Ray delivers, and he over-delivers, and he's a great resource.
He's authentic. He really cares about what he does. He really believes in what he does. And he cares about each and every person that he works with, company, person, individual groups. He wants to see them succeed. It's his passion. He's selfless in that way.
So what I like best about working with Ray is that it is obvious he has practiced and done every single thing that he teaches you, and he has the system to make sure that it works for you.
I would definitely refer Ray Perez to other people because he actually delivers. He's focused, he's dedicated, he has drive, there's a tenacity to him.
The clarity that he can bring to is key. The scripting that you can bring to is key, and let's be honest, if you want to look like an amazing brand, you've got to have these important assets. And Ray knows how to do this quickly, efficiently, with a minimal amount of time. So that's why it's great to work with Ray.
I needed somebody to completely do it for me, and that's what I got done with Ray. So I can't say enough positive things about Ray. He's great.
And he's chasing excellence. So that's why I like about that. So video is #1. What would you say is #2? Social proof. Photos and copyright, written work. So if you don't have videos right now, you want to get some photos of your clients, and you want to get some of those testimonials, right? Because what we're showing right now is called social proof, which we share not only on your social media platforms. You want to share it on your website. You want to share it in email marketing. You want to share it in text message marketing. Everywhere you're out there, you want to share social proof. Why? There is no one better to talk about you than your customers, than your clients. I never have to talk about myself because I have so many clients even before me. But this has been strategically planned and figured out. I know that I'm focusing on what they see, hear, and read about me, and I'm letting my clients do that work for me. Is this making sense? How many of you have at least 6 clients that can get a great testimony about? Okay. So what I want you to do, now with the power of Zoom, lots of things have become simple. Have your assistant reach out to these 6 people. If you have 10, do 10, because some people are busy, it's hard to get hold of them, right? And say, we would love to schedule a 15 minutes on Zoom so that we can ask you a few questions about your experience working with us. Now, I'm going to teach you how to triple dip when it comes to testimonials. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't do this. You can ask them questions, #1, about your product or your service. Then you can ask the same exact questions about you. Because what they answer about the product or service is different than what they answer about you. This was a video asking questions about me. But we also have a video with them answering questions about my service. Does this make sense? Now, I'm going to give you the top 5 questions for testimonials. #1, what did you like best about working with so-and-so or about the product or the service? What did you like best? #2, what is the biggest benefit of working with so-and-so or buy their service? What is the biggest benefit? Number 3, what were your concerns prior to working with your name, your company, your service, and how are they addressed after? And this is a big one, because everyone's got concerns about working with you, about hiring you. So if you have someone address the concerns up front, they do all the heavy lifting for you. And then they'll say, you know, at first I thought it was a lot of money to work with him, and, you know, I didn't really think this personal branding stuff was going to work, but once I did it, I immediately started getting emails, I started getting messages, and my life has changed. Because other people have that same concern. Here's the next one. Who is a good fit to work with your name, your company, your service? Who is a good fit? Why? Because you want your audience to identify the perfect customer for you. You don't have to do the work. Because if they say, you know, if you're an author, if you're a speaker, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're an entrepreneur who's facing your business, you definitely need to work with branding and build your personal brand. They just identify my perfect customer for me. The other one would be, would you refer or recommend set name, product, or service? Would you refer or recommend? Don't let them just say yes. Ask them why. Why would you recommend or refer this person, this company, or this service? These questions I've been using for over 12 years, and we've never found better questions when it comes to testimonials. Why? A lot of people have testimonial pages, but they're like, oh, I love working with you, it was so awesome, such a great experience, such a pleasure to work with, it was great. That's not a good testimonial. There's no substance, there's no results, there's no product. That's why we target the questions, because the answer is speaking to your perfect customer. Does this make sense? All right. Here's another one. I don't know if anybody knows Jeffrey Hazlett from the C-Suite Network, and Les Brown. All right. Here's one of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn. Your time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. So why is this important? Because one of the things that I've discovered in this whole process of building a personal brand is it isn't just how do I elevate my perception of value. It's how do I do it faster, more efficiently, with my minimal amount of work. Because everything I said today sounds great, but if it requires more of your time, then it might not really be worth it. But if we can do this with a very small minimal amount of time and produce massive results, would it be worth investment? Absolutely, right? So what we've done is how to take everything that I just talked about, your social media, your web presence, your videos, your text message, your websites, everything, you can put it in one place. And I actually developed this 3 years ago. I invented this for myself. I was the only one in the world that had it. After 187 clients wanted one, after that, we ended up turning it into a business company. So pull out your cell phones right now, and you can either open your camera and focus in on the QR code, which I think everyone knows how to use the QR code now. If not, you can just go to RateRest360.com and hold up your phone once you're there. Let's see who's got the fastest internet in the room. So I know, oh, all right, number 1, number 2. All right, what does it say? What does it say? It says, and then there's a button that says click, right? Click on that button. Now, you might have an Android or Apple, but it's different. iPhones, when you click on it, it's going to pull my information. Click on the button. It's going to pull my information. Say it.
Digital business.
Digital business card. Scroll down to where it says create new contact. Click create new contact, then click done at the top right now. Did everybody get that? If it's an Android, it might say allow, it might click save, ask you to save or download, and click save. The reason I'm showing you this is because I figured out when I'm at networking events, passing out business cards is a waste of time. It's a waste of time and money, right? Why? First of all, what happens when you give someone a business card? You put it in the pocket of the purse, and they either lose it or you actually actually David work to do. Because if I take a business card, I have to physically open my phone, open up my contacts, type your name, type your phone number. That's a job. Think about that for a second. We don't want to give people a job to connect with us. We want to simplify the way that they can connect with us. Now, one of the things is this. You can't put your picture in somebody's phone through business card. Now, some people like me will take a picture of your business card if you have your photo on it, which most people don't. But when we do it this way with the digital business card, you don't just put your name, you don't just put your phone number, your email, your website, you put your phone number. And that's important because when you text someone, what do they see that pops up in the text message? Your photo. And what did I just explain from the very beginning of this presentation? We want to constantly be doing exposure, exposure, exposure. So there is an entire strategy behind what I just showed you. It's not just an easier way to download your information. That's the obvious. The subconscious or the subliminal process that's happening is that we are intentionally putting our brand in front of our audience without them even really knowing that we're doing this. So when you message them, you aren't just 10-digit phone number, just popping up. So you guys know what I'm talking about. You go to them and then, hey, what's your name? Like, what the hell is this? And you're trying to figure it out. It's just a 10-digit number. That's ineffective. That wastes your time. Now, anyone who's going to speak or does some level of speaking, raise your hand. Hi. Okay, this is the game changer for you speakers. Did you just see what I was able to do? No speaker on the planet is able to do what I was doing. It's a game changer. Now, you might not be a speaker, but do you ever speak in front of a small group of people? Because in a small group of people, whether it's at a networking event, whether it's your team, whether you're doing a presentation, it works exactly the same. Now I'm going to show you, for you speakers, I'm going to show you one more strategy. So open up the 360 site again, and I want you to click on the little contact button. The top right, click the contact. Everybody see it? Okay, click on it. What does it say at the top? Send text. Click on send text. Oh, yours is too fast. Come on. All right, so send text. Oops. Send me your full name and your best email address. Love it. Send me your full name and your best email address, and I'm going to send everybody. And I'll actually send you a video presentation of teaching how I use the technologies in all the different areas of my business. And it is a game changer. So text me your full name and your best email. You guys are all right. Steven. Awesome. I got Rob. All right. I got Kevin. Space. Ken. Nick. Karen. Dawn. Ivan. Enzo. Lisa. Rob, Keith, Rob again, Jax, Hunter. All right. So as speakers, you see what? God bless you. So now, I'm going to take you behind the curtain. All right? I usually don't share this with everybody, but I'm going to share this with you. So in my contact, when you save it, there's two phone numbers. Does anybody know why I have two phone numbers? My mobile and my phone. So I have a text messaging platform that connects to my phone, right? It's Apple's, which allows me to send out multiple messages at the same time, personalized. Does anybody do mobile text message marketing currently? If you are not, besides video, mobile text marketing is one of the most effective ways to connect and communicate. So if you're not, I'm going to highly recommend you consider looking into it. If you want to connect with me, I can give you 4 different platforms that I personally have used, and I can tell you all the pros and cons of each one of the platforms. But here's the key. Besides having the power to send multiple messages simultaneously, personalized, because I was able to save my information to your phone, you just see my name and my picture. You don't actually know which one was coming from, because the phones don't work that way. They don't show you the phone number, they just show you the name. So from a marketing perspective, what would it be like if you could have a whole entire sequence already created of a conversation following up with somebody where your face and your name pops up on their phone, and your team, someone on your team, is managing it for you? Imagine the amount of reach and power you can have by doing it. Now, I'm only showing you at a live physical event. Is anyone doing virtual events? Is anyone doing Zoom calls? Exactly what I just did right now. Hopefully some of the people on Zoom are doing it as well. You can do this exact same process on any Zoom call you ever want. The key I want you to understand is, number one, we're focusing on relationship. I didn't send you to a landing page. I didn't send you to an opt-in page. I didn't tell you to go here to get this, because that's what most speakers do, right? I didn't say text the word brand to 26786. Everybody has seen speakers do that, right? It works, but it's not as effective because it's not personal. It's not relationship driven. It's marketing driven. And even though some people will opt in because they want to learn more, your percentage of opt-ins is a lot less than actually letting people connect with you. Does this make sense? So I want you to understand that because you're focusing on the relationship, you'll actually increase your results when it comes to business. And I can tell you right now, when I used to do the short codes, when I used to do text the word blah, 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 or send it to a landing page, I had 20 to 30% opt-in rate. Now, 60 to 80%. 60 to 80%, that is insane. No speaker has that high of opt-in rate. And the reason I believe is because people feel more connected when they can just text you, and they're not actually having to fill out the form. Now, how is this beneficial to you in your business? What is the most important part of a sale? What's the very first thing you need to walk into? Yeah, you need to get lead. The lead, which, correct, will lead to the appointment. But we got to get the information first. Without the, we're going to have the best conversation in the world. If I didn't get your information, I'm going to walk. Does this make sense? So step one is how you get their information. Step two is how you get them on the how. So I need a volunteer. All right, bring your phone with you. Bring your phone. I'm going to show, I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm teaching you all my behind-the-scenes strategies. I'm going to do this slide with you. Go back to the Rate Press 360. I'm going to do this slide. So we're meeting at event. Did you have it in front of you? So, I'm going to have it. Does everybody have Rate Press 360? You can do it. X out the pop-up, and the very bottom right-hand corner, what do you see? Very bottom right-hand corner. What do you see? Nope. Very, very bottom right-hand corner. 3 little dots. These are my secret dots. Ladies and gentlemen, click on the secret dots. When you click on the dots, I want you to click on number 1. Does everyone have number 1 open? Do you see a picture of my digital business card? Right? I want you to click copy and click. Just click on it one time. Go back to your text message with me. Go into your text message. Open up the one that you texted me and click paste. And watch what happens. It's good set. Watch what happens. Introduction and content. Wow. My hand down. Now, click on the link at the bottom of the text message that you sent. Click on it. It takes you right there. Thank you. Because they're right. Now, mind you, I'm teaching you a different scenario, right? When you meet someone, you can actually just copy the script, copy the link, and it sends it and does all the work for you. You don't have to think how you're going to introduce yourself. You don't have to, it's all been done. Now, what does, let's go back to the scripts. We talked about booking the calendar, right? Look at number 3. Click on number 3. Does anyone know what number 3 is called in marketing? Number 3, when you click on it, what is the little message saying? I'd like to learn more about what you do and how we can potentially work together. Let's try to connect sometime this week or next. What is that called in marketing? Say it out loud. Call to action, CTA. The most important part of any marketing, of anything you do is a CTA, call to action. Without a CTA, you're not going to respond. So after we introduce ourselves, we place our call to action. Why? Because then we're going to respond. Some people will say, great, how about Tuesday? Some people will say, I'm out of town this week, how about next week? Some people will say, absolutely, I'm looking forward to it, how about tomorrow? But look at number 4 right below. What does it say? Cool, grab a spot using my calendar link. Pick the most convenient time for you. And it takes them right to their screen book on the calendar. So basically, all I figured out was there's a process that happens when we meet people we met, right? And it happens over and over and over again. The question was, number 1, how do I elevate my perception of value and get multiple exposures in front of this person? Number 2, how do I capture their information? Number 3, how do I get them booked on my calendar without me having to think about it and just pressing the buttons? Now, from there, there's always follow-up sequence, right? Which we've created as well. But the idea is this: if you can attend events like this, conferences, trade shows, whatever it is that I know you all do, how can you maximize your time while you're at this place? How can you leave with more connections, more relationships, more people feeling that they want to connect with you, but you only need to click a few buttons to get them to do that? Because imagine, how can I communicate with 100 people? It would take hours to do that. So I was getting all these leads, but I didn't know what to do with all these leads because I was overwhelmed. I had to figure out a system to be able to communicate with 100 plus people in a very short amount of time, and then get them scheduled, get them filtered, and see who are in my prospects and clients. Is this making sense for everyone? So I hope that this has been helpful. I hope this has been valuable. I'm more than happy to give anyone who messaged me. I'll send you all an actual presentation on how I get more into the details. But basically, every single person in this room, go ahead, we're going to give them a free 360 site, and we're going to do a training as a courtesy to optimize and teach you how you guys can use this as a
Thank you.
So thank you.